Bonjour, Anin, Minogajib. Welcome everybody to the meeting this morning. Jean Goodsky, our spiritual advisor, did notify us this morning that he will not be able to make it up here, but he has done the prayer and invocation at his home. So with that, we'll be opening up the meeting. I will call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Okay, all right. Next, we have approval of the agenda.
Okay, first off, I have one deletion. Jamie Burdick, the sole source request was taken care of with 3 quotes, so we don't need a sole source for that. Then in front of me there, I'll put Pam.
Pam Hughes.
Yeah, Pam Hughes with and then after Pam, we'll add Donna Hoffer for discussion.
Okay. Pam is about New Moon.
Yeah, Pam's
Supportive
New Moon.
housing. Okay. And Donna is discussion. Okay. Donna Hoffer. Any other additions to the agenda? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda with those additions. Moved by Chief. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next, we have approval of the minutes from the August 4th, 2021 meeting in Net Lake.
Under page 1, where we talk, where it says moved by Shane Drift, second by David Morrison, where we talked about approving the APR aid direct assistance to band members. Some band members have asked me if the council is going to put the information out there regarding the ARP funding and also the CARES Act funding like we did last time. And I said I'd bring that to the council.
Yeah, the CARES Act funding, the first CARES Act funding that we received, that report should be ready to go. I'll check with Kim with financials, but yeah, we will do that. And then with regards to the ARPA funding, because it will be a 4-year program, we'll probably, what I'm thinking is it might be better just to wait until everything is completed, or we could do projects as they're completed, but we'll have a discussion on the ARPA funding. And then the other thing I think is the program funding that we receive, because in addition to the ARPA funding, we'll be also getting funding for the BIA, IHS, Head Start, all those individual programs will be receiving their own funding through the ARPA. So we'll include those as well. But yes, that is public information.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the minutes? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the August 4th, 2021 meeting minutes. Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Next, we have introduction of new staff.
Okay, first we have Travis Vaki with, I'm not too sure which one. Robert, sorry. I didn't want to butcher the last name.
Come on up, Robert. Is he here? So I am filling in for Christine and Vonda today. They have a staff training that they are leading. And I would like to introduce you to Robert. He is our new maintenance tech in Vermillion, correct? In Vermillion. So this is Robert.
Welcome, Robert.
Hello, thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay.
We look forward to you working for us and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I also just wanted to note that we do have our teachers returning for the school year, and they are Shannon Gilson, Rhiannon Strong, Dora Porter, Jenny Porter, Ashley Puller, and Chelsea Mason, and they are back working to prepare for the school year.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and next we got Chris Holm.
Morning.
Good morning, Chris.
We're happy to introduce 3 new staff members to DNR to you. First, we have Deanna Drift. Dee Dee comes back to Boys Ford after 20 years as a career specialist in Duluth. She's bringing a lot of good public relations skills and office management skills to the realty manager position, and we're really glad to have her here. We have Dylan Day, who's been hired he came from Fortune Bay. Again, good public relations skills and computer skills, and he's going to be a forest resources technician and aide. So those are good transferable skills across that platform. And last, we have Ryan Isham. Ryan started in forestry, then went on to work in construction trades for a while. We're happy to have him back. He's got good outdoor work skills, heavy equipment use and operation skills, and he's going to be a real asset to forestry as well.
Welcome, Dee Dee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for the opportunity, and I just wanted to say it's good to be home.
Great to have you back.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you guys for the opportunity. Work out here.
Thank you, Dylan. Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Great. Nice to see you all.
Welcome
I know you'll
aboard.
do a good job. Welcome. Is that it, Rob?
So I'm gonna apologize to people attending by Zoom or the live event. The presenters are over there and we didn't get the video on there, so just so everyone knows, so
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Okay, next we have the consent agenda. I'll read that off for everybody. Approved a request from Joel Astelford to sole source a boiler for the RTG building from UHL in the amount of $135,880. Adopted resolution number 8-2022 IRRR Community Infrastructure Grant for the Vermillion Motor Room. Adopted resolution 9-2022 establishing the Boys Fort American Rescue Plan Economic Recovery Program. Approved the guidelines, approved the application. Next, approve the request from Randy Long to sole source software from Right Track for the ICWA program in the amount of $80,122 with a recurring cost of approximately $18,000 per year. Approve the FY22 federal Head Start grant application. Adopted resolution number 10-2022 submission of tribal broadband connectivity program grant application and authorizing Chairwoman Chavers to execute the grant. And finally, approved a $1,500 fire donation to Dwayne and Sharon Columbus, whose house burnt down. Any questions on the consent agenda? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay.
Okay, next we have Joel Astaford with resolutions.
Good morning, Joel.
Good morning. So we've got a resolution before you for replacing the boiler at the RTG. This is under CARES money. And the attorney has approved it, written it and approved it. I don't know if you have any questions on it or.
Joel, maybe for the audience's information, you could maybe explain that the boiler is
Sure.
out.
The boiler we have currently that heats the RTG building is it's bad, it's wore out right now, it's been repaired many times. What are we going on, probably 12 years right now. The new boiler we're putting in is going to have 3 different stages on it, so if one stage goes down, we can still run it on the stages 2 and 3 or vice versa. So the new boiler coming in will have to be taken apart and reassembled just to get it in the doorway. So there's a lot involved in it. And I did go out for 3 bids and I got 2 bids back, and working with UHL and the effectiveness of them showing up when we need them, excuse me, we decided to go with UHL on that. So.
Okay. We will be using CARES Act money for this boiler replacement due to the fact that our emergency preparedness, our station is here, and that makes it eligible. There is a resolution, usually with the CARES Act or ARPA funding, and we do have to have resolutions and a lot of federal requirements in place. So the resolution I would read, but it's 4 pages long. Basically, I'm not going to read that, it's too long. But all the I's have been dotted and the T's crossed with this. So it is an allowable expense under the CARES Act money. So any questions for Joel?
How much is this? It's gonna cost?
135,880, I believe. And we'll know this week what their schedule is, because we're gonna have to get it in the next 2-3 weeks. So.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution for the boiler for the RTG building from UHL?
Move.
Moved by Chief. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. You have the dam?
Pardon me?
Resolution authorizing emergency dam remediation.
I didn't get that. You guys.
Oh,
got
okay,
that.
we got that. On the agenda is a resolution authorizing emergency dam remediation project as eligible expenditure under the band's ARPA fiscal recovery fund allocation. This is an emergency, as you all know. Our dam is in need of being replaced with a rock arch dam that we've been researching for the past year or so. And with the low water levels this year, we were able to have an emergency berm put in and drain the water and actually see the actual structural damage to the Net River Dam. And so this resolution using the ARPA funds is again in compliance with the federal government with regards to using the ARPA funding as an emergency funding mechanism to get the band's Net River Dam on its way to being replaced. So, any questions?
I'm gonna try to see if I can show a picture of that berm that you guys put out there. Show it on my computer. That's what they did out there by the dam. I don't know if you can see if it's a
Yeah,
clear
I
picture,
can see it. I can.
but yeah, our dam did need to be replaced big time.
Donna, can you come up to the front, please? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Donna Hoffer, and I have a question. So you're talking about this new rock wall is what I
Rock
understand?
Arch Dam, yeah.
Yes. So is that going to control the water? Or is the dam going to be removed completely?
Chris, can you explain that, please? Yeah, you have to come up to the, you can sit by Joel here. Then that way Donna can ask questions there.
So, Donna, the question was, does the rock arch control water levels? Yes, it does. The rock arch structure is a simpler construction than a concrete dam, but it does the same thing as the concrete dam. We're gonna plan to incorporate some modifications actually into the rock arch to allow some even more water level control. The rock arch functions both as the rock arch integrates downstream and upstream systems where the concrete dam blocks off downstream and upstream systems. So it in addition to allowing things like fish movement through the up and down the river, it also is built to maintain a certain water level in the lake. If we add a stop log structure on top of that rock log dam, we can also, get higher water levels if we need to or want to have those. So yeah.
So the old dam is going to come out completely then?
It's at the moment, council is considering the options, for removal of the concrete dam and just leaving the rock arch dam in place. We had the engineering companies who worked on the old dam for years up here just recently, looking at the structural damage to the old dam. And those cost estimates aren't here yet, but I was told when we were out looking at the dam and they were doing the assessment that it's going to be extremely expensive to fix that old dam, as opposed to putting in the rock arch. So the likelihood of the old dam going away, I'd say is possibly pretty good.
How old is that dam?
35 years old.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Chris. Any other questions with regards to Darlene?
Hi, I'm Darlene Johnson. I'm the ARPA coordinator. And on one of the Treasury Department's webinars, there is mention of more money coming through possibly for removal of barriers that inhibit the fish going upstream. So that's something we're going to follow and keep track of. So that's an option that those monies might become available possibly to help with removal of the dam, because that would impede the fish going upstream.
Miigwech, Darlene, thank you. Okay, if no other discussion, we have a resolution, a long resolution again, 3 pages long, regarding the authorization of the emergency dam remediation project as an eligible expenditure under the band's ARPA fiscal recovery fund allocation. Moved by Shane.
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, next we have Doris Isham with agreement to Dave Dance for community development block grant first.
Good morning, Doris.
Good morning. You have before you a couple of contracts written for to contract with Dave Dave Dance, almost on Dave Steele. Dave Dance to write some grants through HUD. As you recall, Dave is very knowledgeable about the HUD grants and has written many of them before. And so we just feel that this would be appropriate for him to write it and offer us a greater chance at getting funded. So the first contract that you have is for, and we talked this, Kim and I talked with Kathy about this before, and we didn't know if it was going to be for one contract, one project, or both. So he prepared two contracts. That's why you have two before you. The first one is a ICDBG, Indian Community Development Block Grant. And that grant is due on October 25th. And the maximum that we can apply for is $700,000. And the plan would be for him to come and look at the ARPA project list that we've developed and then select a project from there and recommend to the council which project that might be that he thinks would get the more scores for.
Okay.
And be a higher risk of getting funded. And so that would be the first contract.
Okay.
Do you want to approve that or do you want
Yeah,
me to go
we'll
into?
do that one
Okay.
first. And this agreement with Dave is similar to the previous agreement where he will get a monetary amount upfront of 5,000 and then I believe, isn't it, Doris? And then 5,000 when completed. Dave has worked for the tribe for many years in the past and is very knowledgeable about these block grants, housing block grant applications. And right now we do also have RFP, or we will be having RFPs for additional grant writers. Doris is really busy as our lone grant writer, along with some of the other departments, trying to access a lot of the funding that's coming down from the federal government and the state with regards to access to dollars for projects. So we're really trying to be proactive with grant writers, and Dave will be very instrumental in getting these two grants done because they're really important. So good job, Doris.
I just should add too that this is not an ARPA
Nope.
grant. It's just the
Normal.
regular normal grant that HUD offers every year.
Yep. Any questions for Doris?
I think, with Dave, he's a well-experienced grant writer. And I remember that when he used to work for the tribe back then, when he had that big long building, block building, and he done a lot of grant writing, and maybe we could approach him and see if he could put on like a seminar to give our people some pointers on how to become better grant writers. Myself, I'm a writer, but I'm not a grant writer. And I'd love to learn that craft, and that would be something that would be handy for all of us that want to do it.
And just to go along with that, I just want to add that Dave has provided grant training through HUD, rural development, and he has offered training up here over the years periodically. And so he is probably has a ready-made curriculum for that.
I think that we should probably pursue that and then see how many of our employees want to take part in it.
Good. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agreement with Dave Dance to prepare the Indian Community Development Block Grant application?
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Thank you. The second contract we have is with Dave again to write the Indian Housing Block Grant. That's due on December 1st, and the maximum that we can apply for is $5 million. And if you recall, this grant we worked on last winter, and it was written for an elderly housing unit. And we'd recommend that we revisit that because it wasn't funded. We just fell short of that. And so I did receive the ranking the scoring, how that grant project was written. And there is a process that we can request a debriefing that would share with us the reader's comments on different parts of that grant. And so that request has to come from Kathy and it has to be in by September 10th.
Okay,
And so we can prepare a letter for you, your signature to request the debriefing. But the contract then with Dave is to revisit that and tweak it. And hopefully this time this go around, it would be funded. So that's for $2,500 at the signing of the contract, $2,500 due upon completion, and at $2,000 if the grant is successful.
yeah, the last time we applied, it was a kind of a rush job because it had to be in so soon, but you know, Dave has again, great ability when he does his grant writing. And with that debriefing, we will request that, Doris.
Yeah.
I'll make sure we get that done so that we can have it resubmitted. And I'm very hopeful that it'll be passed this time, so good.
And I just want to stipulate that the payment for this contract can't be with federal dollars. And I think we discussed that with Kim.
Okay,
And there was a mechanism to do that.
okay. Any questions for Doris on the second agreement with
That
Dave?
one, excuse me, that one will be for the 2 units, right?
Yeah,
Again.
it was just for the audience information. It was assisted living units, one at Vermillion and one at Net Lake, and they were both 8 units. I think 4 of them were a single family, or 4 were single and 4 was family, 2-bedroom family.
Okay. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the second agreement with Dave Jans to prepare the Indian Housing Block Grant application?
Move.
Moved by Chief, is there a second? Second by Dave, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Good
Thank
job,
you.
Doris, thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, Doris.
Okay, next we have Ellen Little with a sole source request.
Good morning, Ellen.
Good morning. So I have like a quote or a invoice. Well, it's not an invoice, but it's for bed bug remediation for one of our units, one of our elder units located on Wesley. I need a sole source approval because it's $5,200.
Okay. And that is A+ pest management.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions for Ellen?
That was A+ pest management, is that the one? Okay.
And that is in the amount of $5,200.
Yep.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the sole source request for bed bug remediation with A+ pest management?
This test will approve.
Motion made by Shane, I'm not going to say it. Go ahead. Second? Second by Dave. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Okay, next we have Lynette Potman with the Lamar contract and addendum to the new billboard.
Good morning, Lynette.
Morning. This is the Health and Human Services, along with the Community Health Program, is doing a campaign for Vaccinate for the Future. And this is a quote to get the billboard at the bottom of Keene Hill for 13 months with the option to change billboards after 6 months. So the cost is $5,200 for the year. We are looking at getting another billboard just south of 169 in the 53 cutoff. So this will be the first of 2 quotes we'll be getting from Lamar. They are the only ones in the area that do this. They own the billboard. They'll take care of the vinyl for us, everything.
Just for the audience's information, the IHS or Health has dollars available for prevention and funding. And we're working with our Turk committee and our public information committee that we have taken or had some very nice photos done by the Boys and Girls Club kids. Yep. And by one of the employees at the Boys and Girls Club. And we're looking at, right now there's no vaccination for kids, but adults can get the vaccines. And so what we're looking for is just trying to send a message out there, what is it going to say? Vaccinate for the future. Yep. And this is kind of what the billboard will look like. I'll put it in front here. I don't know if you can see it. But it's got all the kids at the Boys and Girls Club. Hard to let people see.
It's hard to see.
It's hard to see, but it's really going to be nice. Hopefully to get some adults to get their vaccinations because, it is for the kids and for our elders and just, it's kind of going to be like the same, I think, for the rest of the time, a flu shot. It's going to be the same.
It's going to be a standard.
Yeah, it'll be a standard shot. So good PR, good way. The kids are excited and the families are excited to have the billboards up. So I think it's a really good idea.
Just like to add on to that, I agree that it's a good idea. Also to utilize our radio station, KBFT. The best time to put the radio ads on there is the drive time. From 7 a.m. to about 8:30, and then from like 4 o'clock to about 5:30 is the drive time. And it'd be a good time to do it. Also, maybe even during getting Brandon Benner to do plug-in for you guys during his radio show, because there's a lot of people that tune into his radio show.
Yeah, today is actually the day that we are looking for band members to do short videos to answer one question. I got vaccinated because, and we're going to use these video clips or audio clips for the radio, for social media, just to get the message out there that this is why we were vaccinated.
Okay.
So that those filmings are taken today up in Vermillion and tomorrow here in Net.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions for Lynette? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the Lamar contract and addendum for the new billboard that will be located on Highway 53 for a period of 13 months at $5,200. Moved by Chief. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent. Motion carried.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Lynette.
Rich.
I'm on the agenda next for the Wisdom Steps update. Gloria Love is our Wisdom Steps representative on the Wisdom Steps board. And Doris has been very busy doing grant writing and everything. I know that Gloria did approach Dave Morrison Jr. to also serve as an alternate on the Wisdom Steps board. I believe Squidge was, we call him Squidge. Dave Morrison Jr. is willing to sit on that board. And he does involve fitness and everything. The Wisdom Steps is about prevention, preventative programs, exercise, things for our elders. If maybe what we can do is we'll get a formal request in from David for the next meeting. The other issue with the Wisdom Steps, and this is something again that we could maybe talk with David about, but I was, an elder mentioned about, we're trying to get our elders to be fit and do their preventative screenings and whatever. What would be the possibility of the Wisdom Steps Fund, which there is a little bit of funding in the Wisdom Steps program, to purchase key cards for elders so they can go in the fitness centers and work out. That way they don't have to pay for them themselves. And that would be another possible option, but those are just some things that were brought up with regards to wisdom steps. And I just kind of wanted to give you an update. Doris?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that while I was working in the health services as a diabetic nurse, and I resigned. Well, some time ago. When I did resign, I turned in all my information to, left my information with Gloria, and let the director know that I would no longer be, working on wisdom steps, and that they should find someone to be appointed to that as an alternate. And so that's where it was, that where I left it. And I did enjoy working with wisdom steps. I enjoyed working with the people, the elders, and every year in my budget, I think I requested from the tribal council funding. That wasn't a lot of money. I think it was like $4,000 or $5,000 a year, and that helped to pay. The elders to go to the annual conference that was held at one of the larger casinos like Kinkley or White Earth, and they look forward to that every year, and they that was their incentive to walk I forget how many steps now. I think it was like 65,000 steps a year or something, 10,000 steps a year, and so they really did make an effort to do their exercise. And so, yeah, I think David would do a good job on that. And yeah, if I can help in any way, then I'd be glad to help.
Great. Thank you, Doris. Thank you for sitting on that committee also. And this program was started in the 80s by Mary Snowball, and it's been an excellent program. And like Doris mentioned, a lot of elders look forward to going to that conference. And then they also have a Wisdom Steps golf tournament where they raise money for the Wisdom Steps program itself. So I just kind of wanted to give an update on that and put a little plug out there, and then also maybe see if the council would be considered possibly if there's money available, and if not, funding key cards for elders to access the fitness facilities, because some elders like to get up really early in the morning and maybe exercise early in the morning, other than regular hours. So just a suggestion, but just wanted to give you an update on the wisdom steps.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay. Thank you.
Would we be able to use some of it to come out of clinic funds?
We could
Because it's
possibly look at that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Rob. That's all I had for wisdom steps. I just kind of wanted to give some information out there.
Okay, next we have Pam Hughes with the MOU for New Moon.
Good morning, Pam.
So there's two things. There's a resolution for the Continuum of Care program between St. Louis and Bois Forte, and then also the memorandum of understanding. So what this is it was formerly called Shelter Plus Care, and we received subsidy for 6 units at New Moon for individuals that have disabilities. This is something we do every year. So we just completed our NOFA application. And the MOU is for 1 year, so it'll go through 2022. Because as part of the Minnesota Tribal Collaborative for Homelessness, we had several meetings with Raven Gibbs, and then also with Senator Tina Smith, because tribes were never allowed to apply for this funding. And I think it was like after about 1.5 years, 2 years, Tina Smith addressed this at a federal level, and tribes are now eligible to apply for HUD funding. And so with this current MOU, at some point during the next year, we will be transferring from St. Louis County to Bois Forte. St. Louis County then won't be involved in it, so we will then be responsible for our own NOFA application.
Great. That sounds wonderful. I want to thank Senator Smith's office for taking on this endeavor, because it's better for the tribes to run our own programs anyway. No offense to the county, but that's just the way it should be.
And that law will, it's not just Minnesota, it affects all federal recognized tribes.
Great. And again, this will be just a one-year contract, and then hopefully next year we'll have our own.
Correct.
Any questions for Pam on this contract?
Yes, I have a question. On page 1, it talks about county funds. Letter A, eligible rental assistance cost may not exceed 51,075 of the award. Eligible administrative cost may not exceed 5,675 of the award. And if you flip over to page 2, Bois Forte must provide in-kind funding match to the COC grant of at least 14,188 during the grant term. So I take it that you guys have been in good standing with this?
Yes, and what that is, Shane, is we have to do an in-kind match. And so that's what we've always used as wages. So for this one, there's part of the wages for the case manager, and then a percentage of my wages. And so that's why we just kind of averaged it out at that 2873, because we have to actually be contribute, I believe it's 25%. So that's why I believe that we had to go over 12,000 something. And so then that's how we averaged it out with the hours to come up to that $14,188. So that's just an in-kind that we have to match.
Okay. I'd just like to say thank you to you and your staff for doing the good job that you guys are doing over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Pam on the MOU? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the MOU with St. Louis County for a period of 1 year for
Move.
FY22, moved by Shane. Is there a second? Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank
One thing I will say is we've never had an inspection at New Moon from St. Louis County. And today we are having an inspection of the 6 units. So that's nice that they, come out and look at it.
Yes.
And yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we'll do the resolution too. The first one was the MOU. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
Move.
Okay, executing the program made by Chief. Is there a second? Second by Trav. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, silent, motion carried. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you, Pam.
Okay, next we have Donna Hoffer for discussion.
Yeah, please. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning. My name is Donna Hoffer, and I am an enrolled Bois Forte band member. I am an elder. My Indian name is Bitwewe Benizik, and I'm here to talk to the tribal council. I guess I just asked for some time to discuss recently what's going on in the reservation. And know that I am one of many employees that have been let go from this place, and it's an alarming situation. I do ask for some executive time today to talk about a personal situation. But I do want that, I have a resolution, but I understand that the resolutions have to be prepared and to go through the attorney prior to the council approving those. Is that in writing?
Anything that comes before the council goes through our tribal attorney. I'm not sure if it's been in writing, but that's just been the process over the years. So I don't know if it's in writing, but we can find out.
Yeah, that would be great if we could find that out, because I do have some, I do have a number of resolutions that I do want to discuss today. And one of them is the employment of the employment numbers. So basically asking for the employment numbers of Fortune Bay Resort and Casino and the Boys Fort tribal government employees and a number of band member employees currently working for the tribe. So basically an employment rate of the band members. I know it's been asked on social media, but I'm officially here asking for the tribal council to release those numbers.
I think what would be really good, I think to be fair, is to do like a 10-year report or a 5-year report for employment numbers to maybe show a trend of what's going on with the employment numbers. And maybe some of the, if we could even break it down further, it'd be nice to know what areas they're in. Because we know that certain areas, and I'm going to use Fortune Bay as an example. Some areas at Fortune Bay, some departments have greater loss than other departments. So maybe that's something we need to focus on. I do want to say that the council, along with Fortune Bay, has developed a team of Fortune Bay and governmental employees to look at the band member employment issue. And what it is they look at what are some of the barriers that some of the employees are having. What are some of the skills that maybe we could work with the employees on to obtain employment? Like some of the barriers might be driver's licenses, you know, transportation, whatever. So they are working on, and then why employees leave, how do we retain employees, and that kind of thing. So that's been ongoing now for, I don't know if it's been a year yet, but I think it's something that we're looking at with regards to on both sides with the band member employment rate. But I really think that we can get a more detailed report out for everybody, and we can instruct our HR departments to do that.
That'd be great. Speaking of reports, Kathy, I know you mentioned last year that you were going to submit a report on financial information of the band, and I know that was presented at the state, the band state of affair. Is that going to be mailed to the other that didn't attend that?
Actually, I would have to check with Kim on that, because if we mail that information out, there is a disclosure that people have to sign saying they will not release that information. So that would have to be something I think we could work out with Kim on. But we can bring that up to Kim and our attorney and see, because I know that when they have the state of the band and they do the financial reviews, they do have a non-disclosure statement that they sign, because it does have the casino revenue on there as well as the government and or programs and services, you know, the costs. And that may fall into off reservation hands and other agencies or whatever. So we will look into that though and see what we can do as far as making sure all band members can have access to that. People can come in and request to look at the records that live locally. And they just have to let accounting know that they'd like to make an appointment to come and review the band financials. Those are open at any time to anybody here. So that is available also, but I know the ones that live in out of state and whatever may have difficulty.
Right. There was a report that you were working on that besides the band financials, there was a report you mentioned that was going to be developed and gathered, you know, like a 15-year report or from the.
That was completed.
That
in Fortune Bay.
Yeah. Was that going to be mailed to us though?
That was mailed out quite a while ago.
Oh, I never received a copy.
Yeah, that was That was done by, oh my gosh, that was done about a year and a half ago, or Louise was in charge of getting that out, but it was sent out to everybody, and I don't know why you didn't get a report.
Okay.
But that was done, that 15-year report on Fortune Bay.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that was completed.
Yeah, I don't recall getting a copy. All right. The other thing, as concerning is there's a resolution that's called 35-2017, and it's involving just the tribal government and the delegation of authority of employees, financials, and programs, policies. Well, I see what's occurring, and it's an alarming to me, and I'm concerned about the number of employees that are being released from this tribal government. And I know a lot of that is confidential, and I know a lot of it, is privacy because of their, their situation. But I'm here to say I'm one of them that was released, and so I'm releasing it on myself.
Okay.
And there was a number of situations that I filed a complaint on. And some of them was really lack of following chain of command that the RTC basically has adopted. And tribal council doesn't follow the chain of command and doesn't allow the system to work. So the system, you really have a huge problem with your system. And following a chain of command and allowing employees to do their job. I see the personnel policy manual has a number of places where if you do this wrong, you do that wrong. And one of them happens to be following a chain of command. But I know personally that I have reprimanded employees and individuals, one in particular, and the tribal council got involved and played favoritism. So what I'm asking you to do is to really think about what your actions are doing, because these are hurting our lives. It took me a long time to recover from what I was doing. And it's painful, because really what I looked at it as is domestic abuse. And that's hurtful and that's painful, because I experienced that personally in my life prior to coming here. And then I had to relive it. So I want you to think about what 7 individuals have been let go in 2021. How many more of us are going to be gone? The personnel policy manual should state some rewards, but they're all like, if you do this, if you do that. We're not perfect. We're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. But you're hurting our livelihood, and you're allowing certain individuals to have more authority, and you're playing favoritism, and that's wrong. Why are we here? We're here because we got a number. We have a number behind us because the government put us here. And we should be working together to build one another up. Instead, we're working together to build each other down. So yeah, I want to see the numbers. I want to see the trend. I want to see how it works. And I want the tribal council to follow their own personnel policy manual. And that includes everyone. And then add some things in there about putting some pat on the backs and treating everybody fairly. Because I know my wage was personally not what I was supposed to be getting. And I know, there's talk, everybody knows, it's on Facebook. People got phrases, there was a freeze. Males are treated better here. They got raises during that freeze. And are they band members? No. Females, there's a number of females that have been let go. You know, you can say that maybe I lacked in communication or I created division. You guys have created a lot worse division than I have. I never was as heartless as you guys are. This is terrible. Call somebody in and sit down with them. Have a one-on-one with them. That's what I'm doing here today. I'm pleading for the rest of the band members and to save our employees from any more harshness. And I hope you guys really look at this. And before you terminate anybody, maybe you should ask the elders, is this what you want? Get a group of elders together, get a committee together, 4 or 5 of us. Is this right? Did I sit down? Did I follow? Did I have a communication with them? Or is somebody just, you know, complaining to complain and we didn't really solve the solution? Because there's no conflict resolution going on with this. I want to see our band members educated and I want to see them come back and work here. But under these conditions, I'm not encouraging it. My mom and dad were born in, my mom was born and raised here. My dad was born in Guinea. My mom and dad are buried here. So I come here and I visit them. I rise here, I gather here. This is part of me. I worked hard for my education. And my dream was to come back and work here. And that was taken away by you guys. By not sitting down and having a conflict resolution. I thought it was me, but after 10, 12, 14 of us are gone, it's not just me. There's a problem. It's a problem and it's a serious problem. So I ask you guys have some empathy, open up and see what you're destroying out there. When you just, and allow the personnel policy manual to work. If that's what you've adopted, allow it to work. And I'll give you copies of my resolutions because the other one I want to see is I want to see improvement on employment for the band members. And I want to see us all treated fairly, like your policies state. Because right now it's not. And you know where they're not. You guys sit behind closed doors and talk about us. We don't deny it. And you criticize. But we're your people that you represent. And I want it to change for the better. That's all I'm asking.
Something I need to say too as well, share. Myself, when I was an employee for the tribal government, I was terminated. And I've addressed that on Facebook. And I didn't have the luxury of going to one of my elected leaders, the open door policy that I myself have. As a tribal leader, I have an open door policy, meaning that employees can come to me because I want to hear the problem firsthand. I don't want to hear the problem third, fourth, or fifth hand. So-and-so said this, so-and-so, 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 so-and-so said this. Pretty soon, it's not even what they said or what they did. So when I ask an employee, whether it's a frontline employee, manager, director, the executive director, when I ask questions, I'm asking questions because I want to know. I'm trying to find out. I want to hear their side. And myself, back then, I didn't have that luxury to go to my elected leaders to basically bring forth that my termination was wrong. I didn't have that. And when I was let go, basically I had my car repossessed. I almost lost my house. And I was going through a difficult divorce. So that played, a huge impact on my divorce. So I know what that's like. So that's why I have my open door policy, because I want to hear the employees. And I serve on the retention committee over at Fortune Bay. What we are doing is trying to look at how can we retain our current band members, how can we bring more band members in? Addressing the negativity that's facing our casino. From people saying that they're blackballed, they're not concerned to me. I send an email. I also CC the rest of the council. And I address that stuff. And when band members bring concerns to me, I address it. I put it out in email and CC the rest of the council, the executive director. And I know it's difficult, it's hard. In all aspects. I'm not trying to make excuses or whatever. Just I don't know, it's tough, it's hard. And how can we improve our employment numbers at Fortune Bay? I'm all for that. That's why I serve on that committee. And myself, I'm in favor of putting the employment numbers out there. Whether if they improved or they declined or if they stayed the same, that we could always do better no matter what. If the employment numbers are better than 10 years ago, well, we can still do better. Thank you.
Miigwech, Shane, for those comments, and we appreciate you sitting on behalf of the tribal council on that committee, because it's not just for Fortune Bay, it's also for the government side, to try and get our band members positions here, keep them here, and get them to apply here, not just on the government, but Fortune Bay. The other thing I want to say is we will get the 5-year report out, Donna. We'll get that compiled. I'm not sure how long that will take, but we will get the employment numbers out there for both Fortune Bay and also for the government side. And then also, I will check on the financial report, the tribal attorney stuff in writing before that comes before the council. And then with regards to the personnel policy, I really like what you said about including some rewards in there. It is all just basically what you can and can't do. I think that there needs to be some rewards for those that also do very well. The individuals that have been let go is on an individual basis. And of course, we can't discuss that, but that's one of the reasons first that we did put the policy in place at Fortune Bay and here with that committee to look at band membership, because we do see that we can't get people to apply for positions. And sometimes when we do have band members apply, they're not qualified. So what do we need to do? What type of training programs do we need to have? And so with that, I do thank you for your concerns, Donna, and bringing them to the council today. And we'll get you some information that you've requested in writing. Any other comments for Donna?
Yeah, I'd like to say a couple words. I know that I'm the same way as Shane. I've always had an open door policy for anybody to come and voice their concerns if they're whatever concerns that they may be having. And over the years, I've had employees that have come to me with with problems, and so I sit down and I listen to them, and I ask them always to put things in writing, in which they do, and then I try to address them. And I usually start out with the whatever division they come out of, the division director, and if they're having problems with a manager or a direct supervisor, I let the division director know. And I know at one time we used to have didn't call them division directors, but we called them what does Mille Lacs do? They have their
commissioners.
Yes, yeah, they were commissioners. But then another thing that always kind of gets thrown back in my face is from that director is we have a chain of command. And I know we have a chain of command. It was always in the policy. But like I said, I always had a open door policy, and when I do talk to that employee, I tell them about that chain of command, that they're bypassing their supervisors and their directors to come to a council member. But I've always tried to, get things straightened out and get things right on the back, right on the right track, and between whatever problems that they are encountering. And I don't like to see people let go. I've always tried to, come to a medium to have things worked out where those employees can continue to work for the government. But I know that that sometimes things can't work out, and there's a lot of people that are hurt, and it hurts when you lose a job, and you lose a job when you're working for wherever you're working at, and it feels like you're getting like a wound almost, but it hurts, and it hurts in your heart. Like Donna said, it took a number of years for her to get over that pain, and that is hurtful. But I'd like to to see us that we continue to try to come to a happy medium, and I'm not sure if we should maybe have a review committee to look at the policies, and maybe we could have a person from each division sit on that committee to make sure that the policies are up to date, and there's changes that could be made, for the employee. And I'm not sure how that would go, but maybe that's just something to throw out there to let people think about it, and so we could help the employees to enjoy coming to work, enjoy working, and I know that I've always tried to talk to the employees and say hello to them. I'm not I don't bite nobody, and a lot of people say I look mean, and I try not to look mean to anybody, and I know that over the years I've tried to go to around the offices and just say hello, and but when I come in, it seems like everybody's kind of like runs to their office or something, and I'm not there to to check on anybody or make sure that they're doing something wrong. And over the years, when I'm coming back from a meeting or something, and I have to stop and pick something up at maybe Super One or something that I have to pick up at Target or Walmart, and I run into employees that are in there, and the first thing they say, "Oh, I'm just here to pick up a few things." I just tell them, "No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I know you're coming from a meeting or whatever, and you're just stopping to do a couple of quick errands, and that's all right with me, and that's never bothered me." And so I don't say nothing when I get back. I just know that they don't have to run back into town again to after hours to pick up what things they may be stopping there to get. And I've never tried to go in, and I hope that people don't think that I'm a micromanager, because that's something that I've never done. I hope I've never done or made anybody feel that I've put them in that situation. But again, I just let people do their jobs, and when there comes problems, I've always hoped that things could be worked out. And I know that over the years, we purchased a popcorn machine for here and over at Vermilion. And I know we have staff come in and cook popcorn, and anybody from the other offices can come in utilize that popcorn machine anytime, the council pays for all that. And we also have upstairs and by our offices, we always have refreshments for any of the staff to come up and if they feel like having a snack or whatever, we want to provide that just so they could take a break or they feel hungry or whatever to and that's just a thing just to bring the staff up a little bit. And that's how we as the tribal council have always tried to take care of all our employees, just to just to have like a little snack for themselves to have and enjoy. And I've seen a lot of staff come up together. I've seen the HR ladies come up a few times and get something. And when they do come up there, everybody just seems to be happy. And I know a couple times, I know that when we'll be out front there, we'll be visiting, and a staff person will come up and they'll come up and they'll see us all and sitting there, and they'll say, "Oh, I just come to get a pop," and they almost like they're asking, but I go ahead, go grab what you want. That's what it's there for. And again, we have shown our appreciation to our staff members, and again, any of the other staff from the other offices are all more than welcome to come and grab something from upstairs. It's there for you to utilize, and we didn't get it for us five or Robbie, but it's for the staff. And with that, I will turn it back over to Kathy. But again, Donna brought up some good points and something to for us to look at and think about. And Donna, I want to thank you for that. And again, we want to make sure that everybody's that works for us, that they're happy, and we don't want to cause any conflict or hard feelings between our staff and the tribal council here. So with that, I'll turn that back over to Kathy. But I want to thank you guys for coming and listening today. And thanks, Shane. And but again, we will move forward.
Millie?
Yeah, I just want to kind of make a point on this. I mean, I've worked for both Fortune Bay and the RTC, and it wasn't always easy, and for a few times in either place. But whenever I've had a problem with somebody, if I can't work it out with them, I always make sure that I document. And this is something that I learned back in the 70s, that you document everything you do, everything you say, who you talk to, because you might need it. And there has been a few times when I've had to go look back through my little notes when I'm writing up a report or an incident report, or there was a time when somehow or another I got wind that I was going to be fired. And I turned around and I went back through that whole year of my employment, and I listed down all the things that came up, all the things that I tried to do, all the solutions that were suggested, things that didn't work. And I presented it to my supervisor with a CC to her supervisor and also to all the RTC. And what came, the result of that was that I was given another chance, and then they did send me to a training that I was able to use. And then I continued working in that position for like another 3-4 years. And during that time, I had brought our that department to the attention of the regional gaming commission people. because of the way I did the reports, the way I kept the files, how I did all the work, and it was all, they said I did my due diligence, and it was right down to, everything that was required for all that. So my point for this, I'm not the only one that had to do something like that. My sons, both of them had to do something like that. And they actually wrote the reports, but I helped them edit it. And they were able to keep their jobs just because of them documenting. And I told them, stick to facts only. So that's kind of my point to all these employees that are complaining about not being able to keep their job, or not being able to do this, or not being able to do that, and they're getting fired. Well, make sure you document what you did, what they did, what was suggested, why it didn't work, all that kind of stuff. It may seem like it's going to take a lot of time, in addition to what work you're already doing, but it doesn't really, each project that you do, all you need to do is put a little, if there was a problem, just write a little note, something that will jog your memory if that comes up again, or something like that. That's all I have to say about this whole issues of people getting fired or people not being hired. And the main reason a lot of people aren't hired is because of their background checks. That's all I have to say about it.
Thank you, Millie. Pam?
I think one of the things is the elephant in the big room that people don't want to talk about. It's racism. I see that. I'm a band member. I've been Indian since I was a little girl, but it took until I was 34 years old to give me a card. I wasn't born and raised here, so I'm treated as an outsider. My parents were the same way. They were treated as outsiders. They chose to leave because of that. My husband was the same way, and after many years of living here, he wanted to leave because of how he was being treated. So for me, we have non-Indian people and we have Indian people working for us. And no one says anything about the non-Indian people when they're let go, but there's always something said about our band members that are let go. To me, that's wrong. We're all one being. Our hearts know no color. If we didn't have non-Indian people working here for us, we would have many buildings closed because there would not be the staff to keep them open. One of those facilities is our health, the clinic and the dental. If we just said we're not hiring non-Indian people, we wouldn't have either one of them. I myself, I try not to post negative things on Facebook about our tribal government, about our programs. But when I see things, I also stand up for my programs. I myself, many times, many individuals have said that I'm favored by our tribal council, whether it's this one or the past one. I don't think I'm favored. I'll give an example. The reason why some people say I'm favored is because Kathy Chavers has been a friend of mine for probably 35 years. And a lot of people feel, and it was the same way when Kevin Lisi was in office. A lot of people feel that my friendship with them, that I get entitlements from that. I don't. If I've done something wrong in my job, I would sure hope someone would come and tell me, whether it's the council or the directors that I work under. So, an example of that friendship was when my husband was passing away. And I haven't shared this story with a lot of people except my close friends and family. My husband was granted a trip to Daytona because it was his lifelong dream to go to the Daytona 500. While we were in Daytona, we took him down to Daytona Beach. And as I was pushing his wheelchair back to the vehicle, he had said to me, "Pamela, you need to stop." And so I did, and I asked him if he was okay. And he said, "I am." He said, "But you need to go in there and buy those shirts." So the shirts he were looking at said bitch 1, bitch 2, and bitch 3. When my husband was passing, the 3 ladies that he wanted those shirts to go to were very supportive of me. They were very supportive of him. They would be at the house visiting with him. One of the things my husband requested was that his funeral, he wanted them to wear those shirts. And they did. He had requested that I speak about his life at his funeral. I didn't want to, but I did it for him. During that speech, I talked about my biatches and the one in training. Mary Severe, who was a friend of mine and has worked for Coochin County for many, many years, took a picture after Rennie's funeral of myself and my friends. There was a comment made that that was unethical because certain individuals were not representing Boyce Fort in a proper way. They were not at my husband's funeral to represent Boyce Fort. They were there for me, my husband, and my family. Those shirts should have never been brought up. So for me, I found it very difficult listening to what Donna was presenting this morning because of not only myself, but others being told that we were favored. And what we need to look at here is we need to have an employee assistance program that our employees can come to. And we need to really look at the racism because for me, the council, Robbie, and my director all know how difficult it is for me to work in that environment. I am not the only one that's difficult too. We are losing employees because of it. We've had one leave because of it, and she took a job in the Virginia area. There are others that are wanting to leave. And so for me, I really think that you as a council need to address the racism and you need to get an employee assistance program because it is hurtful. It's hurtful for me knowing I'm Indian, but I'm not treated that way. But I'm okay with that. It is hurtful, but I'm okay. But really think about not only our band members that work for us, but the non-Indian band members and how they feel. There's band members, many of them that feel the same way I do. We are one. And that's what, as a council and a community, we need to address. And even how Millie spoke about the documentation. I myself document things. It's one of the most important things I have instilled in my staff. Document, document, document. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Doris?
Thank you. I wasn't planning to get up and say anything about this, but I just have to say that I disagree that there is racism here. You know, I get along with everybody, non-Indian or Indian. I work with people and that doesn't bother me. And I think there's a lot of other staff that feel the same way. So when people bring up racism, you know, I don't see that. We non-Indians have been working here for years. They will continue to work here. And if they feel, you know, that they're being discriminated against, you know, that they should say something. And but you know, you look at my family is comprised of a lot of non-Indians, and so I don't feel I'm racist, and I don't think that there's a lot of people here that feel that way. What I do see happening though, and with all due respect to the council, there's no buffer between the staff and the council. And I always believed that there should be a buffer, and there is. That's your executive director. You know, you look at the policies, the chain of command, everything should go through that executive director. People shouldn't throw in other people's faces that they have an open door to the council, so they are allowed to bypass directors, executive directors. That's what you lose credibility. The directors, the supervisors, they lose credibility when there's certain people that go directly to the tribal council. And everybody sees those certain people that have that open door that are going upstairs. How many times have I been up there? When I go up there, I have a purpose. I have friends on the tribal council. I don't go to them and ask them for favors because I try to follow policies. And I think if everybody followed policies from the top down to the lowest paid person on our staff, that things would run more smoothly. My husband always says, you know, that your army is only good as the general. And so, in everything you look at, there's got to be an order. And I think we got to look seriously at that. And are we in that order of things? You know, you look at life, there's an order of everything in life. I think that's what people are getting tired of. And so, you know, we can sit here and debate this issue all day. I think the council has heard pros and cons to the issue. And I think it's now up to the council to decide what they're going to do. And but I just got to say that I don't believe that there is racists here. And I believe, you know, the non-Indians that are feeling like that, you know, I'm sorry they feel like that, because that's really not the case, because there's certain people treated differently that happen to be non-Indians. The perception is created that there's racism going on here. And I don't believe it actually is.
Thank you, Doris. I would like to say that, you know, the council, all of us, I believe, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but there is that open door policy. And when individuals come up to the council offices, there are times when they're asked to come up to talk about programs, but there's also times that they just want to visit as people, as friends. And I think a lot of people make assumptions that, you know, individuals going up to the offices are going asking for favors and that kind of thing. Most of the time is work related, asking about programs or services or any type of questions we may have. But it also may be just to talk about a basketball game, a football game, you know, because there is that open door policy. So I think if people have questions, all they have to do is ask. Is so-and-so up here all the time because of this? And you'll get a straight answer from me. I can't speak for the rest of the council, but you know, we are all family, we are all friends. We do speak and visit, and we also talk about business, but I don't think assumptions, you know, should be made. Just ask. That's all I say is just ask a question. Donna?
So I filed a ethics complaint when I was released. Was that ethics complaint shared with other individuals?
I can't answer that because I wasn't involved with the process. So I'll defer that to the other council members.
No, it wasn't.
So we were talking about these social media policies and maybe a lack of policy because there isn't one, is what I hear. So there was in my complaint, I mentioned this T-shirt, and in regards to the bitch 1, 2, and 3. And the reason I mentioned it, and I understand fully now a more detailed event of how those occurred. And I'm sorry, Pam, for the loss of your husband. What my concern was is the event that occurred between me and one of the council members, because they brought that situation up to me behind closed doors. Because one of the staff people within my department at the time made a post, and they questioned me on it. So there is a lot of, yes, favoritism going on. There is no doubt. There is discrimination going on. Maybe like Doris is saying, it's not racism, but there's discrimination and there's harassment going on. And so why is it some other people have lenient with the social media policy and others don't then? You know, why is it that some get paid more than the other person when in equal positions? Why is it some can disregard the personnel policy manual and others can't? So yes, there is favoritism going on. All I'm asking is that you follow that policy that you guys say you've adopted. I understand your open door policy, but at times you do need to redirect it back to the proper chain of command, whether that's the executive director or not. That's what I'm asking.
Thank you, Donna.
I just wanted to say also, thank you for that, Donna. The other thing too, regarding to what Pam said about the white elephant in the room, I think the other one too is, the other white elephant is, some may feel like it and some may not, you know, but I think it needs to be addressed, and it's last names and also political affiliation. You know, myself, I am for open government, open, transparent government. I'm also for being fair and equal across the board. I just want to state that. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Any other comments? If not, call for a motion to adjourn.
I'd just like to say something real quick. With everything that's coming to light and everything, I think it just shows that we all need to improve on what we're doing. All of us all the way to the top. It just, we do need that little buffer between front employees and us. And like, there's people that could bring their problems up to me, and I always refer to the chain of command, and it's got to be done. And I try not to break that. But in the big picture is we all gotta get better at what we do. We know our policies are outdated, So that's gonna be one of the big tasks, I think. Like was brought up earlier, is have a senior management maybe come up with and work on all those policies, that personnel policy, and stuff like that, because it's been outdated. Same with our wage stuff, that hasn't been addressed in 5 years. And I think it just got done when we first got on. And nothing's been done with it in years now, so. But we do gotta get better at what we're doing. And I can pretty much say we're going to get better at it. Thank you.
I really like the idea of an employee assistance program. I think that's something we need to implement within our organization here that will assist all employees. So I think that's one of the goals for the HR department is to, and the tribal government, the council, to develop an employee assistance program for both sides, the Fortune Bay side and the government side. It'd be the advocate for the employees, no matter what position they hold. So I think that's a really good idea.
I think I brought that up at Fortune Bay one time about a job coach, helping people to keep their jobs. It was kind of shot down because of financial stuff at the time. I guess that's what they were told. But, you know, it was a subject when I was working there. I used to see there some of our upper staff actually going to the employees' house, band members' houses, to pick them up to bring them to work. You know, and I can remember working in the kitchen and knowing this guy was hungover and maybe even halfway drunk, but just kind of pushing him in the corner because he showed up every day to kind of do his job, and he did his job. But I guess I was kind of enabling at the time, but I know that person needed a job. Otherwise he wouldn't have survived, you know.
All
But I
right.
do see a need for that, like a job
I think
coach.
that'd be good. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? Robbie had to leave. There was an emergency at the C-store. There's a gas spill. So he had to leave the meeting. So just for your information.
I'll move.
Oh, moved by Shane to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chief. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Thank you, everybody. Have a good